Hey everybody, what's up? It's me, Jerry. I'm down here at the VA park. But you know, this is not the only reason why I'm doing this video. Sure, I'm at the VA park. It's always good to get down here once in a while. But you know, I've been seeing this thing on Facebook and on YouTube. The news has broke all over the world that John Cena has broken the record. Well, it's about damn time. And let me explain, before anybody else gets into this, let me explain what I mean. Let me explain a little bit more. You'll understand where I'm going with this. It's finally time that somebody broke the record. Sure, to us as 80s kids, Ric Flair will always be the man. But look at the bigger picture here. And I'm serious about this. Look at the bigger picture here. Look at the bigger picture. For the 20th century, Ric Flair will go down in history as being one of the greatest world champions of all time. But for the 21st century, John Cena will go down as one of the greatest of the 21st century. You know, there's been a lot of talk on Facebook. There's been a lot of talk on YouTube here recently. I mean, here in the last, not recently, well, I can say recently. Here in the last, recently of less than 24 hours. And there's been a lot of talk on Facebook about the same thing. Let me put it this way to you folks. I get it. You know, it was time to break the record. No, really, it was time to break the record. And you know, it's times like this in the world today that we need something to come up. Something new, a shot in the arm to professional wrestling. And, you know, being the 17-time world heavyweight champion right now, now this is kind of great, man. You know, John Cena, it's been a very, very long time in the making for the 17th time world heavyweight champion. It was time to break the record. Oh yes, understand what I'm saying. It was time to break the record. Really was, in my personal opinion. It was time to break the record, folks. It was time to really get into a new era. And I totally understand what people are talking about. Yeah, I get it. There was ups and downs from WrestleMania, but a lot of people are putting highlight to Cena and the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. It was a great match up to a point. And I mean that. It was a great match up to a point. But here's something that no one's been asking. When John Cena hit him with the belt, when John hit the American Nightmare with a belt, was it discretionary? Or was it all in the planned work? Interesting question. Some would say that was all planned in the works, and some would say it was just what happened. It was a great match up until the low blow, and he hang with the belt, and all of a sudden, the attitude adjustment, then the 1, 2, 3. Yes, folks, it's kind of nuts right now. The internet is going crazy. Well, let's get real. That didn't have far to drive. That was a short trip. But the point I'm trying to make is, okay, finally, after 20 some odd years, 24 years in this new century, we're about ready to turn 25. We've just turned 25 in this new century. We just turned 25 in this new century. And to finally have the record broke is something that is pretty damn amazing. But for the 20th century, for the 20th century, Ric Flair will always be there at number 1. Let's look at tag teams here for a minute. Since we're on this very, very special edition of Let's Talk. And we're going to talk about wrestling real quick. Since this whole thing, I've seen a lot. Let's talk about some great tag teams in pro wrestling. Top of the list would have to be the Road Warriors. Name me another tag team that did what the Road Warriors did. NWA, AWA, CWA, Florida Championship Wrestling, WWE, WWF. Every wrestling organization those guys were ever in, they were literally handed the belts. Do you know why? Because even New Japan even knew. They gave them a title run. You make a title run with the Road Warriors, you make money. I guess if you want to talk about another tag team that be up there in close to their league, would be the Dudley Boys. ECW, WCW, WWF, WWE, tag team champions, but they're only number 2 to the Road Warriors. And I'm not saying the Hardy Boys should be in at number 3 as well. Hardy Boys should be right in there. Even TNA, for both the Hardy Boys and the Dudleys. But only 2 and 3. Number 1 will always be the Road Warriors because of what they did. They reinvented the industry. And you know, that right there should say everything. The Road Warriors reinvented this industry. Ric Flair, top of the industry. Now you can add John Cena to that list. Some people say, okay, John Cena is number 1. For the 21st century, yes. For the 20th century, it'll always be Ric Flair. I put it this way. And by the way, I'm still at the VA park There's the VA hospital, and there's a baseball field. We hope to get some games off of that this year. We're adding a little bit more videos to our little. We're adding a little bit more videos to our Rasmus. We're gonna get some baseball games this year. We're gonna get some crazy stuff. We're gonna do some oddball stuff. And don't think just because this is Let's Talk Wrestling, this is gonna be a series. No, it's gonna be a one-time event. We'll get back into our community thing. Right now, we've been busy and a lot of things have been going on. But I do promise you this: we will get some things done this summer. And also, cruising's coming back. Ooh, yes. Cruising is coming back from the TNL Hot Dog Saturday nights, so we'll be looking for that show. Also, we're talking about pro wrestling. We're going to do some video work from out at the rec center. There's a free show coming up this weekend. And we might as well get some work off of that. But like I was saying earlier, I've heard a lot of stuff. Okay, John Cena broke the record. Okay, fantastic. The question now remains, who's next? And here's another big question. How long will it take for someone to break John Cena's record? I don't see hardly anybody on the roster right now that could pull off a stunt like that. It would take years to do it. I'll put it to you this way, and that right there is a pretty tall statement to make. Who would be next in line to go 18? And how many years would we have to wait to get that answer? Leave a comment on that one. You really think that there's a lot there? Really, think about this. You really think there's a lot there? Because if you think about it, and yes, I want people to think about this. I want people to think about this. Is there another major superstar who will accomplish the next goal? And when is it coming? I don't have the answer to that neither. I figured I'm gonna get a lot of craziness comments for that statement, but hey, it's what it is, man, because there's been a lot of talk. I've seen not only the talk from those on the internet, on YouTube, I've also heard some chatter on Facebook already. Last night was a great night to have the record broke. And believe me, we're a long time away before we ever see something like this again. Shoot, maybe none of us will be alive. Maybe some of my generation, most of my generation won't be alive by the time that happens again. But for those who are 50 and over, and who are wrestling fans, Ric Flair will always be the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. And he will be the man. Cena is the 17-time World Heavyweight Champion. That sets the tone in the 21st century. He's the first one to do that in the 21st century. So, who is going to take the time to do that? Are we going to see this in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? We might see this in 2021. Who knows? But I will say this, and I will say this for the record, that sometimes life can be a little crazy. Life can be a little bit more nuts. You know, we're down here at the VA Park, and, you know, Memorial Day weekend is just around the corner, so we'll have a lot of videos about that. But, you know, do you know what Memorial Day weekend really sets up for? That's the nursing home, and that's the VA hospital. Right there. You'll be seeing that. You'll be seeing them again when Memorial Day comes around. Guaranteed. And I'll put it to you this way. Life sometimes can be a real pain. But life sometimes can be a real discretionary. And I'll put it to you this way. For John Cena to break the record, okay, all fine and dandy. But now brings up the bigger question, what's next? Well, we'll find that out later as time marches on. And don't forget, the Football Circus Show is just around the corner. So, be looking forward to that one again. And if we play our cards right, we're going to have a new way of doing the Football Circus Show. Special game of the week. But that comes in due time. More details to come as they become available. I want to thank everybody that's going to watch this video. Of course, as always, just for the record, we are down here at a park here in Clarksburg. And you know, this wouldn't be a bad idea, real quick. You know, I'll bet you, in your neighborhood, there are big parks in your neck of the woods too. To look this up on the video, Let's Talk Pro Wrestling is what you're going to be looking for on the YouTube channel and other things. And you know, pretty much, you know, it's always fun to do these videos. But like I said, we're taking a little bit of a break. We'll get back into our Let's Talk About Neighborhoods here probably in the next couple of days. We had to take a break because of Easter and a couple other things that were going on personally. But you see, the point I'm trying to make is no matter how far down the scale we have gone in professional wrestling, how far the scale down has gone in professional wrestling, we mostly, I know as a kid and as a teenager and still to this day, I still watch it, but I don't watch much WWE anymore. I've got more in the TNA and their shenanigans. But still, I still like the sport. But I wouldn't be talking about John Cena. I did see the entire match on YouTube. So, I know all the ins and outs of that match. And some of the crazy stuff they had to do to make it more entertaining. But life sometimes can be more entertaining than you think. It all depends on what it is and what it can be. Like I said, look this up. This is a very special thing. Let's talk about professional wrestling. Let's talk about pro wrestling and other things. This is what you look for on the YouTube channel. I want to thank you all personally for watching this particular video. Never know, we might pop another one back on. Just thought I'd get a little bit out here. Like I said, let's talk about pro wrestling and other things. That's what we've been doing here. And we've been doing a pretty good job at. This is Jerry, and I've been tape delayed at the VA Park in Clarksburg WV USA. Peace. Grace for peace. Aloha. We serve men and women serving all around the world of our U.S. military and our veterans. We love you madly. Peace out. We'll talk to you on the flip side.